Imagine your case studies as stories.
Yeah, they should be consumable and beautiful, I think.
Hi there, welcome to this portfolio review series. It's Shivan and Paras. In the last few weeks, we have made multiple videos. Initially, we started to review portfolio individually, but we realized it is not feasible to review each and every portfolio. I think we have got 700 plus portfolios to review now. And then we thought maybe we can take some really great example and showcase those portfolio, do a tear down. So that's what we did, and we made two videos on that showcasing great portfolios. I'll put the link of them in the description below of this video. So this time we thought, Paras and I, that maybe we can make a video because we have reviewed, I think, 300 plus portfolios in last 3-4 weeks. We have been doing this all across our career as a designer. So we thought we can just share all the learnings we have learned from doing the portfolio review, tier on interviews, and share the best practices for your portfolio website. It will consist of, first of all, I believe, what not to do is the most important part, even more than what to do in your portfolio. I call this via negativa, what to avoid, in your portfolio, and then what you should do, and then mistakes, etc., and good practices. We'll cover that, Paras. You want to start with
Yep.
the first of all on
Hmm.
advice on what not to do when you are building
Yes.
your portfolio. Yeah.
So the first thing that one should not do in a portfolio is please do not make it on Behance. It is great if you have your own website. So Behance compared to your website would always win. So again, that is the first point that I.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, these days it's not very hard to make a website and you don't have to code your
Hmm.
website. There are a lot of no-code tool. I mean, I first my
Yes.
main website on Notion. If you just Google, Notion portfolio website template, you will find plenty of them.
Hmm.
And now we have Framer, and you also don't need to learn Framer. Just Google, just go to Framer website and search designers portfolio template, and you can take any other portfolio template, just a lot of free one, and just put your content there, right? And also connect a
Yes.
domain name. I think that would be great. That will really differentiate you from other people, right? Designers should not include all the projects in your portfolio. 2-3 projects are fine, and
The
only
best
include those
ones.
projects, best one, right? Yeah, and also on the
Yeah.
top put the featured project, right, which has the highest
Hmm.
impact. Yeah.
Yes, I also have one more point, Shivam. In your case studies, please do not follow the traditional design process. It is very boring to actually go through these kind of case studies
Mm,
because somehow we know what is the next step that is coming up. So rather than following the traditional design process, just jot down how you actually did that, solve that problem statement, or how, like, what
mm.
was your process. I think that is way better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, design process is a lie, right? There's no one size
Yeah.
fit process
Hmm.
in the company that we follow, right? Yeah, so
Hmm.
this, define, discover, research, something, and all this artifact also, I think personas, etc. Designers should avoid putting personas and all those complicated journey maps. The idea is that whatever research you're putting, if you can't map it to the actual design output that you've made.
Hmm.
So, for example, I see a lot of e-commerce redesign, etc. And at the end, it looks like another Amazon or Myntra or Flipkart. So
Yeah.
in the end output, you will need to validate your research or persona. So if it is not doing that, then just remove it,
Hmm.
right?
Yes. So a lot of portfolios when I see, generally the when I open the website or any the portfolio link, the first section that I generally see is the about the designer, like
Hmm.
who are they? And a lot of portfolios I see either they are written through ChatGPT or like like they copied
Hmm.
it from somewhere and then they wrote it down. I think rather than doing that, it would be better if you can write it in your own words instead of using
Hmm.
ChatGPT. That way, we also get to know a lot about your personality as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think about section, I think is the data suggests is the most viewed page on the portfolio, even more than the work and case studies. And also coming to the work also, I think it is very important if you're working on a live project, then you can also put the link of the live website or app, whatever it is. And even also maybe just before even opening the project in the thumbnail outside, you can just mention about your role, your participation, responsibilities. That will even help me to show exactly what you did, right? And
Hmm.
how did you collaborate with the product manager, developer, etc. And also
Hmm.
in the work case studies, don't ever use Laura Epsom. Also in the screens,
Yeah.
it is a big point. They should also consider, accessibility in the portfolio, that they should not design such kind of navigation, or sometimes you open a website and there's a lot of heavy scroll and things just to beautify thing. They add such animation, or just the text has very low opacity with the background, it is not legible. So they should also consider the accessibility. Don't do over animation. I think that's very important. Also in the website, make it simple, easy to navigate.
What are the good points that should be there in a portfolio? Is first one is, I think, the attention to detail. So through across your portfolio, starting from the homepage to your case studies, attention to detail is one of the most important things. So what I mean by actually attention to detail is it's in everything. Like even when it comes to visual design, it should be perfect. If you're doing the research, like, again, it should be thought through. Like at every point, the details should be there, is what I believe.
I think in the case studies, and you should also mention the impact. Like, let's say you did work on some feature, and after your design work, what was the improvement in the metric? Did it resulted to
Hmm.
more customer satisfaction, higher
Hmm.
net promoter score, or what kind of success metrics you are using? I would also love to see the impact thing. That this shows the designer is also considerate about the business, and not only
Hmm.
just not just a Figma junkie only. Yeah.
Hmm. Another point that I think is the portfolio should have good visual design. I get it in a lot of messages on LinkedIn, honestly, that should my
Hmm.
portfolio look good because I'm a UX designer? That is not even a question. I think it should be beautiful, because if your portfolio
Hmm.
does not look good, then it gets rejected right there. Good visual design
Hmm.
is also like really important. Please do not miss it.
Yeah, and I think by good visual design, you don't have to really glorify that also. Even if you know how to use proper typography, you're good with
Hmm.
the spacing and layout, I think that's good enough. Doesn't mean that you have to use fancy gradients and all kind of stuff, right? Just basic fundamental visual design skill are also good to know. In terms of the case study work, if you can demonstrate a wide variety of case studies, if possible, maybe let's say even if you're also working in the same company for 2 3 years, if you can just show what different work. Let's say you work on the branding for some time, and then you work on the app design, and then you are also working on the marketing, so you can make three different case studies from the same company work. So that will demonstrate your breadth of work. And
Hmm.
then in the case studies, you can demonstrate depth by telling in detail about your whole project, impact, business goals, etc. And also, one thing, make your portfolio highly scannable by using less of text, more tables, images, etc. Imagine your case studies as stories. They should be, for my first heuristic is that they should not be boring to read.
Hmm. Yeah, they should be consumable and beautiful, I think.
Yeah, so let's say if you work on some interesting project, let's say for I was working with some client which was in tier 2 3 cities. The interesting aspect was vernacular, that is the languages. The app was designed in Hindi and other. We had the support for other language in their region. So you can also mention if your project has some differentiating factor, because a lot of case studies look same these days. Don't
Hmm.
follow a template based process, and demonstrate what was unique in that. That would be really helpful. If you're in India or US, etc., any place you are, you can demonstrate the unique aspect of your project, and then how
Hmm.
you solved it. And also, if you were involved in the early product thinking before going to design, that you were working with the PM, or maybe let's say you work in a startup which is a small team, then you can also showcase that how you work on the initial features, prioritization, and working with the founders, that why you're building this, why now,
Hmm.
and what were the other exploration. So these are all things which come way before the making the designs on the Figma, I think. Yeah.
Hmm. So I think about product thinking. So if your case studies have a flair of product thinking, then those case studies are good. What I mean by product thinking is, so basically you understand the whole product, like you understand it from the business point of view, from the tech point of view. You do not have to do anything, just having a clear understanding helps you as a designer. And if that gets reflected in your case study, I think that's a bonus point as well.
Yep, exactly. I know there are some designers who have expertise in certain domain. For example, for me, it is healthcare and edtech. So if you have really strong experience, then just put in the portfolio in the first section that you have worked in healthcare sector for 7 years, 6 years. you can these companies can contact you, and you can also it will be very a good anchor point that you have a domain expertise in these certain industries, when you're also doing job hunting. And also,
Hmm.
Paras, one more thing I observed this trend that a lot of designers are using videos in their portfolio, case studies, or in general to, because I mean, if images speaks 1,000 words, then a video speaks, I think, 10,000 words maybe. It also tells me that a designer is good with communication,
Hmm.
presentation, and storytelling. So try and be using a Loom video. Just make a video, explain the case study. I think just 2 3 minutes
Hmm.
video is also fine. Yeah.
Hmm. Whenever I open a case study, and the case studies that are generally put on Figma, they take very long to load. So it is okay
Hmm.
if you're putting it on Figma. But I think for case studies, what you can do is make a smaller case study, which is like easier to load, like not very heavy. And you can make another one more case study of the same project, which where you can put everything. So whenever you have to showcase it to the recruiter or the design manager, you can show that case studies. Right now, like whenever I was seeing those portfolios, it takes forever to load the Figma prototypes, like which are heavy. So I
Hmm.
don't have another like a choice than to leave.
Yeah,
Yep.
these things like page load time, performance, these
Hmm.
also need to be optimized. And but if you're using tool like Framer, Notion, that's fine. But for the case studies, right? If it is too heavy, that's also a part of user experience, right? The
Hmm.
people who are going to open that, you need to think of that how long it's just a long thing, they won't read, right?
Hmm.
One more point coming up, a lot of designers these days, they are doing much more than just doing design. They are giving talks, they are doing workshop, they are making plugins for Figma, they are writing newsletters. So if you are doing those things, just showcase them in your portfolio. So your portfolio is not just for your work or case studies. A portfolio is imagine that to be your home on internet. So just put out the other
Hmm.
things you're doing, newsletter, workshop, anything you're doing, like just showcase that.
So
Hmm.
it also, like if you mention that in your portfolio, it also adds bit of your personality to the portfolio, which I think is a very
Hmm.
good point. Like if your personality is missing from your portfolio, it's just another portfolio. Like
Hmm.
so.
Don't use ChatGPT or other AI tools to
Hmm.
write your
Yeah.
case studies or about. Think it's
Hmm.
fine. Just in your about section, tell about us, tell about yourself, what you do apart from work. I mean,
Hmm.
do you like reading books? And first of all, this is real books. It's not a background, so I can just prove it right now. Like it's like, see, it's a real book. I'm at
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
real bookstore right now.
Hmm.
Just showcase your personality. If you like cooking, if you like going for a trek or whatever you do, just tell about that in about section. It's a great place to showcase personality and your cultures, because companies hire, I think, first on the culture and then comes the skill set, right? These are great points you have covered. I'll also link the other videos showcasing great portfolio in the description, and
Hmm.
also the link to the our design community. It's a teleform, you can fill that. That's all. So let me know if there's anything you would like to see in the coming videos. Thank you so much, Faraz.
Okay.
And yeah, bye.
Okay. Bye bye.